The maximum buzz in Davos has been around the India story. But the one question that would be in the minds of many watching at this time is, what does India get at the end of Davos? Is all the effort, the investment that's made in setting up all these lounges in the promenade really leading to anything tangible for the Indian economic growth story? To talk about this, I'm joined on this broadcast by Rajesh Kumar Singh, Secretary in the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, or DPIIT. They're the guys who coordinate and are really at the fulcrum of all the effort that India is making at the World Economic Forum. So, Mr. Singh, welcome and thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
Start up by explaining to everyone watching what is the net outcome. You know, such a big splash, so much so that some people are now calling it India was instead of Davos because of the virtual takeover of the promenade. Mila kya hai?
So let me explain that bit about the takeover of the promenade. The Indian presence here has been fairly large for the last 3-4 years. This time we took the additional sort of step of trying to co-locate all of our lounges from the state governments, from the corporates, so that we create maximum visibility for India, getting a bigger bang out of the buck that we are spending here. Coming back to the issue of what we are intending to get out of it, the states are basically showcasing themselves as investment destinations. Some of them, I think that Telangana and Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka have already signed several MOUs here, which they must have sort of planned for this, coming out party, so to speak, in Davos. As far as Government of India is concerned, we want to showcase India at a broader level. The buzz around India right now is in terms of its macroeconomic growth numbers, its growth potential, also about things like our digital public infrastructure, which is emerging as a big USP, combined with the investment that we are making in our physical infrastructure, as well as the improvements we've made to our business environment. So you'll see that in terms of FDI inflows, the results will follow. Those things don't happen overnight, but the continuing presence in Davos gives creates this is a forum where India comes out and presents itself to the world as a stable, predictable, strong.
So the theme for India this time is Credible India. Why have you picked this theme? And when it comes to trying to attract the attention of corporates who are being wooed by different countries, whether it's Vietnam, Indonesia, take any, they're all trying, Mexico, they're all trying to woo top global corporations. What's your pitch around Credible India?
So the pitch around Credible India is, of course, the fact that this is a new India in many ways. In the last 9 years, we've delivered on promises of improvements in infrastructure. But also, if you see India's growth potential and the tailwinds that the economy is currently experiencing, you'll find that many of the big corporates that we talk to here, the Nestlés of the world, the Schneider Electrics, the Siemens, all of these companies are doing better in India than they are in their parent jurisdictions, which shows again that the upside in India, the enterprise value in India, the CAGR that they're experiencing in terms of sales, and most importantly, the profit margins that they're experiencing in India is often 2 to 3 times, even 4 times what they're experiencing in their parent markets. So those who are here who are already there in India are coming to tell us their expansion plans, and of course their stories encourage others as well.
So do you want to take us through that, of all the meetings that have been held so far? Who seems most bullish, wanting to expand, double down on the India story?
I haven't met anybody who's not very, very bullish on India, Rahul. Everybody is very, very bullish on India. The entire, all of our major logistics companies whom I've interacted with and during one of our web sessions, they are very bullish on India. They are very excited about the improvement in our logistics efficiency. All the auto companies in it who are here, who have their EV plans, they realize that there's tremendous growth potential there given the low levels of penetration. Companies who are in the air conditioning space know that India is where the big bump in demand is going to come with the growth of the middle class, when in a situation where your AC penetration is just 4 to 5%, and the global average is about 30 to 40%. So they all understand that India is where the growth story will be, and they will probably miss out if they don't come in there.
So one of the things that you're trying to push also are the industrial corridors that are being set up. Where, according to you, is the greatest promise being seen in terms of the actual implementation of the idea of these industrial corridors?
So industrial corridors being developed at the national level are, right now there are 5 of those, one in Gujarat, one in Greater Noida, one in Ujjain, and another one in Aurangabad. So these are, many of them are already substantially occupied by industry, except Dholera, which is the one where we are hoping now to see a lot of activity in the semiconductor space. In addition, there's a lot of industrial estates that have come up by the state governments, as well as by private players like Reliance, like Shree Infrastructure near Chennai, and others as well. Now, all of them are providing plug-and-play infrastructure for investors to come in and start production from day one. And those are the kind of landing platform that we are projecting before the new investors who are making their first moves in India.
So, given that there is an election, oftentimes, a lot of investors typically tend to think, let the elections happen, then we'll see, basis the outcome, what decisions to take. Do you think this particular year, at least till the results come out, this might put some companies in a wait-and-watch kind of mode?
On the contrary, as a civil servant, I can't talk about election results, but I think the market has factored in a certain level of continuity in policy and predictability of policy. So they're really not that concerned about elections in India. They may certainly be concerned about elections in other geographies around the world, which are, where elections are imminent. About India, they factored it in. They are quite clear that the kind of robust macroeconomic numbers, the financial stability, as well as the political stability that is the USP of India in this period of geopolitical turmoil in many parts of the world will continue.
So on production-linked incentives, what's the thinking within DPIIT at this time in terms of the efficacy of these incentives? I was speaking to Raghuram Rajan the last time round, and he was very upset with the manner in which he thought wasteful subsidies were being given to corporates. And at this moment, your assessment of the level of efficacy and what more should be done to try and make it useful for companies to actually start investing?
Okay, so on PLI incentive scheme, we are going to spend almost 1.97 lakh crores across 14 sectors of the economy, across 10 departments. In some sectors, we are doing very well, particularly in areas like mobile manufacturing, electronics, telecom equipment, drones, pharma and medical devices. These are areas where there's a lot of growth, a lot of new champions, a lot of exports happening. And also, for the first time in drugs and pharma, we are producing articles product lines that were never made in India earlier. There are some other sectors like steel and textiles where there's some lag in terms of implementation, but partly because of some rigidities that we placed in the original scheme, which we are now trying to liberalize. But on the broader issue of Mr. Raghuram Rajan's criticism
is also about value add. It's like, this is just assembly. This is not, there's no value add really.
So I don't think he's really seen the scheme in detail at all. So this business of value addition is limited. Let me tell you, when it comes to automobile manufacturing in particular, the threshold itself specifies a domestic value addition of 50%. You don't get any money until you hit that threshold. In case of mobiles, we did not create that kind of a ceiling, that kind of a threshold. But nonetheless, even in mobiles, you'll find that the value addition that we've already reached in just 2.5, 3 years of the operation of the scheme is about 18 to 20%, which is extremely high, given the fact that after so many years of manufacturing ecosystem having developed in China, their value addition is only about 49%. Most of all, and this is the critical part that I want you to understand, that the beauty of the scheme is that you're providing money at the back end. What you are putting is for performance criteria whereby the company puts its investment first. And if you see the way disbursements have been going in this, we've given less than 2% of money so far. We've attracted over 35% of the investment already into India. We've generated lakhs of sales, exports, employment. industrialization in many smaller parts of regional corners of the country under schemes like food processing in particular. So all these good elements of the scheme are getting lost sight of because of this value addition argument, which in any case is confined to a very small segment. And finally, and most importantly, the way the scheme is designed, as I said, front-loaded investment, back-ended disbursements, we have ensured actually that the public exchequer hardly loses anything. It's a self-paying scheme. The amount that is being generated from the sales through GST, through income tax, is going to ultimately far outweigh, particularly in net present value terms, whatever little subsidy that we are giving. So I think he's dead wrong.
Okay, so we leave it over there. Thank you very much, Ayush Kumar Singh, for joining us. We wish you all the best. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.